Hey, pardon me. Good morning, guys. Hope you have your coffee ready. This may be a little bit longer video. For those of you who are still watching, like I said, I've been kind of down on myself lately. Like I'm doing these for no reason at all. But hopefully I'm reaching somebody out there. I'm exhausted, I'm tired, I'm stressed out. I'm ready to go home. So, sorry guys, I'm just tired and exhausted. Honestly, I didn't think this time would come. I didn't think we would see an election, but it is upon us. And please go vote. Trump needs all the votes he can get because they said roughly they think about 40 million evangelical Christians will stay home and they will not vote. Because why? They all feel that this election will turn out to be a big old fraud like 2020 was. I'm one of them, but I'm off Monday and Tuesday and I will be standing in line tomorrow to vote. Not only for Trump, but for Ted Cruz. I don't know if you're familiar with Texas, but Ted Cruz is in a very tight race with that knucklehead, Colin Allred, who loves migrants and loves trans people playing in women's sports. And he is all for Kamala Harris. Now, he's kept quiet. He's kept quiet thinking, oh, he's a moderate. No, he's anything but a moderate. He's playing the Joe Biden 2020 approach, and he's kept quiet, thinking of himself as a moderate. But if he gets in, Texas is truly in trouble. It's already turning to a nice, hazy, nice color of a wine purple because of all of those knuckleheads from California and New York. They're moving to Texas. And you have all the migrants. Houston, San Antonio, and the El Paso area, hugely populated areas. They're all Democrat, and Texas is not staunchly Republican like it used to be. So, if you're not familiar with Texas politics, Cruz beat Beto O'Rourke. Please don't look at Beto. You know what Beto stands for in Spanish. He calls himself Beto. But Cruz beat him by only 200,000 votes. And this one, he may lose. Go vote. He may lose. And they're already thinking that the House will flip. They're already thinking they only need 4 votes. And if Senate keeps control of the, it keeps control of the Senate, if they keep control of the Senate, Nebraska's close. You got several races. We're in trouble. Let me start off with, you know where I'm headed with Daniel 2. I'm reading this for a reason. Daniel 2, we'll start at verse 21. If you want to follow along, you know where I'm headed. Everyone has heard this verse. I'm reading this for a reason. Daniel 2, starting at verse 21. It is he who changes the times and the epochs. He removes kings and establishes kings. He removes kings and he establishes kings. He gives wisdom to the wise and knowledge to the men of understanding. I'm going to go ahead and read verse 21. I wasn't going to, but I'm compelled to. It is he who reveals the profound and hidden things. He knows what is in the darkness. I wish he'd show me. And the light dwells with him. Verse 23. To you, O God of my fathers, I give thanks and praise. For you have given me wisdom and power. Even now you have made known to me what we requested of you, for you have made known to us the king's matter. And he's talking about Nebuchadnezzar's dream. But he removes kings and he establishes kings. I want you to remember that in the election tomorrow. They're probably watching this video, but there are people at work who said that they are send me a map every day that on the road to 312 electoral college votes. I love y'all, but if Trump wins, he's going to squeak in there with the skin of his teeth with 270. However, I don't think he's going to win. He'll need Arizona, Nevada, Georgia, North Carolina, and one of the blue wall states. And right now, he is a couple of points behind in Nevada. He's behind in Georgia, and this I don't understand, but he's behind in North Carolina. You have a hurricane that destroyed half the state, and what the Harris and Biden administration did, and they're still thinking of voting for Harris. He is behind in those states, and he is behind in all the blue wall states. Look, I'm going to read several things. Come on. All right. All right. First scenario. See that glare? That's my wife's tablet. The first scenario, if Trump squeezes in. You think 2016 was bad? Just wait. If Trump squeezes in. First scenario. Donald Trump is now president-elect number 47 with a significant electoral victory. Certification, however, is forcibly dragged out slowly in so-called blue states, which uses lawfare to confute election results in every juncture. This is what could happen. Cities within those same states rage with angry protests, reminiscent of past elections lost by those who champion radical leftist ideology. Republicans win a majority in the House of Representatives, and narrowly, this is a scenario. This is a what if. Republicans win in the House of Representatives and narrowly win a majority in the Senate. I don't think it's going to happen, but this is a what if. Screams of election cheating blister the mainstream headlines with emotions of rabid anti-Trump hatred. Larger cities erupt in flames and carnage, destroying commercial infrastructure in ways worse than any before. Paid instigators of violence push anarchist forces George Soros will pay for these. Paid instigators of violence push anarchist forces into suburbs for the first time. The rage is met with resistance by citizens bearing arms. Looters and rioters are killed, and the forces retreat back into their inner city enclaves. This is pretty what if, but this could happen. This could happen. It's not the same country that we grew up in, guys. 20 years ago, we would never have such a radical Marxist even close to being president like we have now. 20 years ago, they would be considered one of those third-party candidates, you know, the Communist Party that you see 20 years ago. They got like 0.01% of the vote. You know? Well, Communist Camilla could be our next president. Could. Mainstream news, rather than laud the resistance to the violence attacking citizens in their suburban communities, blame those defending their homes for the use of gunfire and deadly force. The media boasts news and entertainment, and they get on a Zoom call. I'm done with Marvel. You know who I'm talking about. They get on a Zoom call where they praise Kamala. Anyways, the media, both news and entertainment, join the accusatory mantra of election fraud and cheating. Those in mainstream media and those on the losing side scream about election corruption inversely to the way they prosecuted and ranted against those who made the same accusations in claiming fraud and cheating taken place in the 2020 presidential election. Real insurrection, unlike the pseudo charges of insurrection on January 6th, is now waged by the rioters raging on behalf of the losing political party. I could see that. I could see this going down if Trump wins. I definitely could see it. I could see this. I can. While the United, I can't read this morning. I'm exhausted. While the United States turmoil boils to near civil war, antagonist enemies of America and the Western Alliance, sensing present weakness in the American government, they're waiting for this. They're waiting for the results. Sensing present weakness in the American government and knowing that Trump will very soon take office and their opportunity will be missed, quickly make plans to take advantage. World War III looks to be inevitable. China gathers to test the resolve of the U.S. and other NATO members in threatening Taiwan. Russia moves its troops in North Korea alliance. Troops and staging for invading Ukraine. Mideast terrorist organizations begin major assaults on Israel. Israel knows of this plan of massive assault, which is on the brink of coming together. IDF, without forewarning to U.S. or Western leaders, plans immediate destruction of Damascus. That's scripture, guys. We'll wake up one morning and Damascus will be destroyed. Now, last time I looked, Israel is at least 8 hours ahead of us. IDF plans immediate destruction of Damascus, where most terrorist organizations' leaderships are headquartered, and at the same time the IDF moves to destroy Iran's nuclear weapons development facilities. Look, if Trump wins, if we take the House and the Senate, it's going to be chaos. Now, let's visit the other scenario. What if Kamala wins? They take the Senate and they take the House. What if Kamala wins? 3 ways the left plans to stack every branch of the government. Look, that'll never happen, Rich. Come on. You're over-exaggerating. Really? Well, just take a look at Venezuela. Take a look at Venezuela. We're headed in this direction. Stacking the Supreme Court. You know they will. No institution has experienced such a concerted and sustained attack on its legitimacy than the U.S. Supreme Court. After decades of activists dominating the judicial branch, former President Donald Trump appointed 3 justices that tilted the court in the direction that it's in, sparking instant cries to change the number of justices for the first time since 1869. This would allow the Harris administration, if she wins, to expand the court and pack it with liberal judicial activists. Since the Dobbs decision, the Democratic Party debate has centered not only whether candidates should stack the Supreme Court, but how openly it should take place in the 2020 Democratic primaries. No fewer than 11 Democratic presidential hopefuls supported court packing or were open to it. Although he opposed the notion during the primaries, President Joe Biden signed an EO 14023 shortly after taking office, establishing a panel to study the issue. The risk of court expansion are considerable, including that it could undermine the very goal of some of its proponents of restoring the court's legitimacy, including concluded the commission's 198 pages of the discussion materials, not less because court packing could be perceived by many as a partisan maneuver. You think? Could be considered a partisan maneuver? Well, duh. Oh, Lord, help us. Lord, come quickly. Let's continue. Since the number of Supreme Court justices is not enumerated in the Constitution, it's not. It's not. Dissatisfied members of Congress have introduced court-packing legislation of their own. Last July, Senator Ed Malarkey, did I read that wrong? Ed Malarkey. Let's read that again. Ed Markey of Massachusetts introduced the Judiciary Act that added 4 new justices to the Supreme Court, inflating the court to 13 members. Wow. They can pass all kinds of liberal ideology. All right. If they take the House and the Senate, they remove the filibuster, that's going to happen. And what is the last thing a country does before it turns into an all-out banana republic? They change the makeup of the Supreme Court. That's exactly what Venezuela did. And that's where our freedom of speech, our freedom to bear arms will all go away. Yeah, good luck trying to take our guns in Texas. You come knocking on our doors, you're going to be met with a shotgun. Yeah, good luck. Could happen. If Harris, the House, and the Senate totally flips. Stacking Congress. How are they going to do that? Let's read. The radical left is not content on merely changing the Supreme Court. It aims for permanent control of all 3 branches of federal government. Democratic proposals would radically reshape the legislative branch as well. Perhaps the most extreme and least noted attempt to assure liberal control over the legislature is the Democratic Party Congress-packing scheme of adding up to 6 new states to the United States. I have heard this, I have read this, and they want it to happen. Because they know these 6 states are all hardcore thumping cobalt blue. That would bring them 12 senators and approximately 8 members of the House of Representatives. We support statehood for D.C., Washington, D.C. Declares, I work for a cell phone company. And if they live in Washington, D.C., in our system, it's not considered Maryland. We have to scroll down, and the state in our system is considered Washington, D.C. state. That's in our system. So, we promote and support statehood for D.C., declares the 2024 Democratic Party platform. Democrats support self-determination for Puerto Rico. Democrats also support for the U.S. Virgin Island, Guam, and the Commonwealth of Northern Mariana Islands and American Samoa. There's your 6 new states, and they're all radical blue. Stacking the presidency. You don't think all of this could happen? Wake up. Wake up. It is a reality that could come. No, you're over-exaggerating. Am I? Am I? Stacking the presidency. Although the Democratic Party, are you listening to this? Although the Democratic Party has held the presidency 12 of the last 16 years, it remains outraged that constitutional precepts hold back a more permanent, just forgive me guys, a more permanent grasp. The Democratic Party already maximizes its advantages by counting illegal immigrants in the U.S. Census, by shifting congressional powers toward blue states, counting non-citizens in the census also increases the number of electoral college votes controlled by blue states. Are you still with me? Have you turned off this video yet? I would have. I can't take this depressing stuff. I get it, guys. I get it. I've been stressed out about this election too. I cannot believe how many liberals I work with at work. They don't like J.D. Vance. I love the guy. They hate Trump. They would rather see the all-out destruction of America than to see that orange man with weird hair back in office. She could be Marxist to the core, and they will still vote her in over Trump. I don't get it. I just don't get their thinking of a woman who's Marxist, who kills babies, who destroys transgender lives. Oh, a little boy thinks that she's a girl. I'm going to take her away from their parents. I just don't get it. Help me understand. I don't get it. Let's continue. This video's already running a little long. The greater concern is not just illegal immigrants are counted in the census, it is that they are also voting in the U.S. elections. They're trying. They're trying. Some sanctuary jurisdictions openly allow non-citizens to vote, although not for federal office. Are you sure about that? They're saying they're not voting for federal office. Yeah, they are. Come on, let's get real here, folks. But the widespread distribution of absentee ballots, coupled with loose standards governing the registration of voters under the 1993 federal bill, create a perfect storm for illegal immigrant voter fraud. In Pennsylvania, Department of State official Jonathan Marks testified that non-citizens voluntarily told the state they had illegally voted 544 times in elections held between 2000 and 2017, representing one of every 172,000 votes cast in the swing state. I'm exhausted, guys. An official review of Georgia's voting rolls found 1,600 and 34 non-citizens had attempted to register to vote in the swing state between 1997 and 2002. Virginia removed 5,556 non-citizens from its voting rolls between 2011 and 2017. Non-citizens had voted 7,474 times between 1988 and 2017, officials found. And North Carolina. North Carolina voter rolls showed 1,454 registered voters who did not appear to be naturalized before Election Day of 2014, according to Public Interest Legal Fund, and 89 attempted to vote. Look. Point is, the point is, if she wins, they take the House and they take the Senate, which I think is the direction it's going to go. They will remove the Electoral College and go strictly by popular vote. The last time a Republican won by popular vote was George Bush. It'll kill the Republican Party. I have to end this video, if you're still with me, by sharing the gospel. It's the only way out of this madness. Acts 13, 38 and 39. Therefore, let it be known to you, brethren, that through him forgiveness of sins is proclaimed to you, and through him everyone who believes is freed from all things from which you could not be freed from the law of Moses. 1 Corinthians 15, 3 and 4, for I have delivered to you as of first importance what I have also received, that Christ died for our sins according to Scriptures, and that he was buried, and that he was raised on the third day according to Scriptures. He shed his blood so we can wash our sins in his blood. He did it for us. Romans 10, 13. For whosoever will call on the name of the Lord will be saved. It is that simple, folks. We are ticking down to the end. I'm going to hop on here again tomorrow and read an article that I saw yesterday on why we are at the end and why I can't believe we're still here. Folks, get on the rapture train. Get on the rapture plane, whatever you call it. We are definitely going home soon. And I hope sooner than later. I don't want to be here for another Christmas. Oh, I used to love Christmas as a kid. Now it is just the most stressful time of year. Trying to come up with presents that I cannot afford. My son wants a bicycle. He wants a Nintendo Switch. Can't afford all that. I don't know. Love you guys. I will see you again tomorrow. Maybe I get 30 people to watch this video. Like I said, I'm totally defeated. But I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to back down on this. Me, like I said in my earlier videos, if somebody up there comes to me when we're up there and saying it's your video, if I could change just one person, then I guess it makes this all worthwhile. Just one person. That's all that matters. I think a preacher famously said that he would travel 1,000 miles just to keep one person out of hell. So, love you guys.